Hey now, today I am trying a little experiment here for the first time, and it is an apricot raisin sunflower seed bread. This is a little bit of an homage to my lovely mother-in-law, who ran a very, very large farmer's market bread business for years and years, and she always said that the bread that started her whole business was this apricot raisin sunflower seed bread, and right till the very end it was one of her top-selling breads. So let's give it a little whirl in sourdough form. Let's check out the ingredients. All right, so it's going to start off really simple. I'm using 500 grams of strong baker's flour, and that's going to be going into 350 grams of filtered water. That's 75%, so a little higher hydration than I usually use with my sourdoughs, but because I'm adding some dried fruit to this, I thought I would try to balance that out just a little bit. So I'll give this a couple of minutes mixing, and then we'll be good to go here. Okay, so that's good for mixing. I'm just going to now get this all off into this bowl, cover it up with some plastic wrap, and give it an hour or so for autolyse. All right, so after that hour, I've got this bowl of leaven. I've already dug into this leaven for another sourdough, which is why it's not looking quite as pillowy as usual, but it's definitely ready to rock. I'm going to be adding 125 grams of this leaven. That'll be 25% based on the baker's percentage. And of course, come on, there we go. And overshot it just a little bit. So I'm going to scoop a touch more out here. Perfect. So now I'm just going to wet my hands with some filtered water here. And I'm going to go ahead and, first of all, punch this leaven into the dough a little bit. And then I'm going to start to just pinch and fold here until, well, probably for a couple of minutes until it's all nicely incorporated. Okay, there we go. Really nicely mixed up, so I'm going to cover this up with plastic and give it about half an hour. Well, now it is time for some of these ingredients that are going to make this bread fun. So first of all, we've got dried apricots. I have 125 grams of them, which is 25% of, again, the flour weight. And I'm just going to slice them so that they're in sort of these little slivers here. So just 2 cuts in each is more than sufficient. I think if they were in the big chunks, wow, that would be awesome. Maybe getting one of them in a bite. You'll wind up with fewer bites that have apricots. And I want this mixed nicely throughout. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this really quickly. Okay, there we are. So I have those apricots, and then I have 75 grams or 15% of these dried raisins. And then I've got 50 grams or 10% of these are actually roasted, salted sunflower seeds. So these are all going to go in here along with the salt. And what I've got is 9 grams or 1.8% salt. Just gonna throw everything in here all at the same time. We're gonna mix it in together. A lot of the time when I'm mixing big chunks of stuff like this into sourdough, I'll do a lamination and mix it in that way. But I thought this time, just because, I would see what it was like if I incorporated it during the salt addition here. So just mix this for a couple of minutes. Okay, so that all seems to be mixed in really nicely. It'll kind of get mixed around a little bit more as we do any sort of folds after this, but I'm just going to let it sit covered for 30 minutes. Okay, so after 30 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and just do a stretch and fold. Now, as tends to be the case when I've got this much awesomeness jammed into a bread, it doesn't stretch super far. Not that the angle of my camera would let you see it if I did get it 3 feet up in the air anyway, but there we go. All right, stretch and fold. I'm gonna do some more of these, probably at least 2, and we'll see what it looks like after that. After that last stretch and fold, I've just let this continue to ferment. It's been a couple of hours, and it looks like it's ready to go. So I'm just going to flour my hands. I'm just going to get in here, get it out onto the counter, just like so. And both hands nice and floured up. Just bring it around. We'll do a nice little pre-shape here. Then I'm just going to cover it up with my banneton and give it probably, based on how fermented it looks, maybe about 5 minutes, and then we'll do a final shaping. I had to switch out that banneton for this bowl because the banneton was not tall enough to contain this beast of a bread. So I'm just going to do one last little final shaping. It really holds its shape well when it's got all this sweet goodness inside of it. So there we are. And I'm just going to add a little bit of rice flour to the top, a little bit, a whole lot apparently, and tuck it into here. I'm going to plastic wrap that with the cover and get it in the fridge overnight. Morning of the bake. This is a large bread taking up this entire banneton. I'm just going to take my parchment paper, flip this over. Now, I do want to try to get some more seeds on the outside here, so I'm just using some filtered water. I'm just going to kind of brush it on just a little bit. If I'd been thinking I maybe would have used my spray bottle, that might have been more effective. But hindsight, right? Quickly brush this on, and then I will sprinkle on some seeds. This should look nice and cool. All right, then I'm going to quickly score this. It's a little hard to get around those apricots, but it's a nice thing that I've got them slivered. Now this oven's been preheating at 500 degrees for almost an hour now. So I'm going to wind up dropping the heat down to 440 degrees and let it go for half an hour. All right, so after 30 minutes, let us open up here. Woo! That is a beautiful looking loaf. Awesome. So now I'm just going to reduce the heat to 430 degrees and give it 20-ish minutes. We'll check on it again. So after 21 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and pull out this bread. I'm going to get it off of the, try to get it off of my combo cooker lid here. Let's get a little warm. Ooh. Of course, it's self-destructing on me. And we'll pop this on here. I'll slide it off of the parchment, and I will let it cool down and rest. I gotta say, that's a nice looking bread. Looks like a little bit of those apricots kind of burned on the top. Not too badly though. Well, we'll find out when we slice into it later on. It is time to cut into this bread and see what it looks like on the inside. Reasonably soft on the outside. Kind of nice. And let's take a look. Oh man, look at that. Lots of awesome apricot, the raisins, those sunflower seeds sprinkled throughout. Awesome. Okay, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to rip off a slice of this and toast it because this will definitely be best toasted with some butter. Okay, so I gave this just a light toasting. Some butter on there that's all nice and melted. Let's have a taste. Oh, I love this. So you have the rich, bright sweetness of those apricots. You have the sort of darker, rich taste of the raisins. If you hate raisins, too bad. I guess you could just add some more apricots. And then the fun crunchiness of those slightly salty sunflower seeds throughout. This is beautiful. A real delight. Awesome toasted. A little butter. Fantastic. Definitely give it a whirl. Until next time, keep her at 11.